Memories have a funny way of clinging together. They're often not arranged in the order that they happened, but by the feelings that they stirred. Seeing our sketches again took me to places I hadn't thought about in forever. We're back here for Maquette, which is probably one of the more touching games that I've played so far this year, which isn't really that big of a stretch considering it's only May. But hey, every chapter the scenery changes, and I'm kind of wondering, just generally, what up, you know? Because there's other houses that are in back here, which are kind of like woodsy houses. Well, that one's woodsy. This one's like run down, or a different season. There's a clock tower over here, which God only knows, and these houses here. I'm assuming I need to get to these houses here with the pink street lamps. But it's kind of cute seeing these here. I assume I need to get into this house. We were headed in the right direction. 2 years in. Oh, no, no! But looking back, cracks were starting to form. See, now it's starting to... Now this is utilizing the mechanics of the game a little more. So I already know I'm not going to be able to cross that first step. Your little quirks. They weren't so little anymore. And this is exactly what happens in relationships. I like this. It says the... Whoops, I just jumped off the step. It says the quirks were not so little anymore. These steps are not so little either. Each step... This is very symbolic, by the way. It's like every single step you take in this game, it's just getting more and more big of a problem to overcome. What used to be cute now seemed fussy. I know I wasn't perfect either.
Hello, Sunflower.
Oh, good, you got beer. Thanks, hon.
Yep, decided to live a little on a weekend.
To live a little.
How was school?
Great. No. It was boring. Want to watch a movie tonight?
Sure.
Keep watching that trashy show we were watching last week. What was it?
Yeah, sounds good.
That trashy show. And every day that passed, the cracks grew a little more. Okay. But relationships are kind of like this, though. Like, it starts out and it's like, it's something small. It could be something like, oh, you know, like something like you don't wash the dishes. I'm one of those people who's very clean. I like to cook, scrub the pans, just to get all the bulk out of it, then eat. And I've lived with people before who have been like the complete opposite. They've been like, okay, I cooked, cool, the pan can just sit there on the stove on the coal burner, wait for it to cool down, whatever. Then they'll eat the food, and they might have scraps remaining on the plate. They'll walk by the green bin, and then they'll leave it on the freaking counter. And then they'll just leave it there, and it just keeps gathering flies, gathering maggots, until you realize, oh shit, so they've left some stuff on the counter that needs to get rid of. And they don't quite realize the importance of, just overall cleanliness. And that's... You might think it's small at first, but over time, you start to realize that your cleaning habits need to be in line. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of stresses and stuff like that. So, yeah. There's that. So if that house is too... Crap. Oh, Jesus Christ. Little stuff I did made you sulk. My unfinished cans of seltzer abandoned everywhere. That is one of them. That is actually one of my pet peeves, is leaving cans of stuff everywhere. Ooh, I just heard a dog. So that opens that door. And that door. Oh. My bad knee that I complained about, but refused to see a doctor for. Okay, in all fairness, I'm with him or her on that one. What even is seltzer? I need to Google seltzer, actually. Let me just quickly Google it. Because I know Alka-Seltzer is something... Not AKA, stop it. So Alka-Seltzer is a combination of sodium bicarbonate, aspirin, and anhydrous citric acid. Used to treat symptoms caused by too much stomach acid, such as heartburn, upset stomach, or indigestion. So what's a seltzer can? Seltzer. Oh, seltzer is literally just sparkling water. Okay. Duh. But yeah, I would be miffed at these seltzer cans everywhere too. Let's be real. We still had good moments though. Like that getaway to the cabins in Marine that convinced us to find a home together. Marine. Now before I go in there, I think I need to put the stairwell inside. Eh. Good enough. So as good as that home is... Oh, okay, I see where I need to go. It's clever that this place is clever. Whee! Part of me wants to go to the end, but part of me doesn't want to waste the time. Now what? But those good moments were sparse. High points on an otherwise flat line.
Hello, Sunflower.
Hey, I got wine. It's on the counter.
Why did you just snap your computer closed?
Because you just got home.
Okay. But you just snapped it shut like a kid hiding something from his mom.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you my full attention.
I mean, whatever you're doing is fine. I just don't like how you hid it from me.
I didn't hide anything from you.
Whatever, it's fine. You made stir fry?
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Just some trash.
What are you watching? Just some trash. Okay. He was watching porn. I'm kidding. Well, maybe I'm not kidding. Who knows? I mean, there are couples that get bored and they start watching porn. In all fairness, he kind of brought that up on himself. So if somebody enters the room and you just go and immediately close the laptop, you're going to raise suspicions. Something tells me I'm going to need that axe for something. This is such a big world, without being big at all. It's ridiculously... I wonder how they did it. Like... Because, like, there's this point where it stops being so big. Like, does your character just, like, reach a certain point and then they grow smaller? Like, there's got to be a transitionary period, or it's just, like, it's scaled out. God, this is ridiculous. I like it. It's a good ridiculous. But yeah, I'm wondering what kind of a wall they're going to hit in their relationship, because that's going to be a fun one, I think. Now. There's a door open here now. But, and this is a big but. I know, it's a big but. I think I'm going to need a slightly bigger one. Wait, if I need the bigger one, I would need to pull this back in. Back in. Would you? Okay. If only that would work. There we go, that's better. Okay, if I can just... There we go. So now... If I can just angle this just the right way. There we go. Now I should be able to get up here. And then this was the house. That's better. I look at our thrift store dinnerware with those mismatched salt and pepper shakers and tell myself it was a good start. Now, honestly, though, like... It wouldn't be a bad start. You know, you gotta start somewhere. If it's a thrift store salt and pepper shaker, that's not so bad. Ooh, I think I know where I need to go, though. There it is. When we finally moved in, we had high hopes. It helped things for a while. Oh, that's where the salt and pepper shakers come in handy. So if I shift this... over to the corner. Then I, like, shift this, like, here. That was a fail. Would you fucking... There we go. That's all I wanted. There. Make it closer. There. That's all I wanted to do. There. Yeah, I think I'm good. Eh. Nope, I'm not. I need to go smaller. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But it wasn't our dream home. Or it wasn't our dream house. We were still excited about taking that step. Ah, Jesus. Let me see if I can't. Yeah. Next step together. You know, I don't know if I've ever been like excited to take the next step like that with anybody before. Like I've been excited and I've been like in a serious relationship before. But there's just something about moving in together. It's like it never really excited me because it was just kind of like, oh cool, I have a roommate again. Maybe I've just never seen anybody as a permanent roommate. Maybe that doesn't make sense out loud. Maybe it does. But I don't feel like I would ever get excited as these people are.
You're home kind of late.
I bought beer.
I put dinner in the fridge.
Oh,
Why didn't you text?
sorry, it was a last minute thing.
And you didn't invite me?
I went out with Angela.
Oh,
I'm just trying to repair my friendship with her.
okay. I mean, you still could have texted.
You're right. I'm sorry.
You want to watch something or...
I'm just gonna use my laptop in the other room.
They're tired of each other. I think she's more tired of him than he is of her. Because he's still like, why didn't you text? She's more like, I'm just going to avoid you. And this is kind of like what happens as well. Like, there's one big sign that relationships fail. And I know I'm going to go, well, Dr. Phil in this, but... when you're at the beginning of a relationship, everything seems like it's all happy-go-lucky. Once those quirks, the little quirks that become too much, you start fighting about things. Where it's like, oh, why didn't you text me? You could have did this. I was worried about you, blah, blah, blah. And that's the stage that he's at right now in the relationship. But there's a point where you just stop communicating. And this actually happened between like me and one of my exes. And this like, I wanted to talk about things. It always annoyed me that she wouldn't talk about things. And she was just like, you know what? I just want to sleep when I wake up in the morning. It never happened. And that just, it just pushed everything down under the surface. So for me, it was just like constant irritation and annoyance that just wasn't getting dealt with. And for her, it was just constant dismissal. And that's kind of... relationships eventually, when you get to the point where you're way too amicable with things, is where you know the relationship's either dead or dying. Now, I don't want to seem like every relationship was like that, because it's really not. But for the most part, yeah. It's kind of like when you're in a long-distance relationship. It's like, you can talk every day. It's perfectly fine. But then you end up going like a day or two without talking to each other, and then a day or two after that, a day or two after that, and it's just like you start talking to each other less and less often, And you got to start preparing yourself mentally for like the day that they walk out and they never return, because it is going to happen. And that's kind of what like the lack of fighting in their relationship tells me. I know, I got a little too deep for this one, but it is true. And it's kind of something that you end up learning from video games and movies and TV and life experience, mostly life experience. But I find a lot of people are just so... they don't notice the signs. They're like, oh, why did it over? You didn't give me any warning signs. And it's like, you had signs. You really did have signs. Something tells me I need to get up to that bell. Now, is this their wedding with the cherry blossom petals? It felt like we had followed the map and we'd still gotten off course. We just kept going, too scared to say anything was wrong. Now, I like that this secret owl thing keeps appearing everywhere. It's actually adorable that that owl keeps showing up. Now, I also noticed as well, though, that the tree is over there. The blossom petals aren't on the back wall. I can't tell if it's retreating or if it's just a design choice for this specific level, where it's just so dark and unnoticeable. But we need this. Because if I need to reach that bell... Okay. Something tells me I need to put this inside of this. Oh, that actually might be a good place to put that. Oh, damn it, really? It won't let me jump on top, unfortunately. Oop, oop, oop. I think it's just the wrong angle. Fuck. Maybe now. There we go. That's not going to work. This might, though. Well, at least I'm up this far. Where else can I go here? Oh, something tells me I need to get up on the railing. So, like, I would need to get up into that. Which means I would need to plop it up against a wall that I can jump onto and then jump over. Okay. So maybe theoretically, maybe? Now, by the way, I realize that I sound a little heartless when I talk about my ex and say that I never was excited to move in with her or anything like that. Because I was, just it wasn't in the cards. But at least that kind of taught me how relationships work. At least a little bit. Every relationship is different, though, so you never know. Now, ultimate question. If I put that there, wait, what happens if I just ring the bell from here?
Hey,
Hey,
you have mail here. Oh, did you hear from your mom yet?
how was work?
I was at school tonight. Did you hear from your mom?
Yeah, how was school?
You totally don't care, do you?
What? I care?
Do you?
Yeah, I asked you how work was.
School.
School. Okay, how was your day, Kenzie? I was asking how your day was. Does it matter if it's work or school?
Apparently it doesn't.
Oh, come on.
Okay, that's her
I'm
fault.
sorry, I just...
Sorry for not caring.
No. Oh, no.
My weeks are tough. I'm working and I'm going to school. And I'm not saying your job isn't burning you out, but when I come home from a long day, a very long day, I would really appreciate it if you could give me just the tiniest bit of your attention.
Are we really going to start having this conversation again?
Yes. Yes, we are going to start this conversation again. We're going to start this conversation over and over again for infinity until we figure out how to end the conversation without you tuning out.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means whenever I want to have a discussion about something serious, you end up just leaving the room, mentally or physically. You refuse to deal.
I leave the room because when I tell you how I feel about something, you insist it's not how I really feel. What is the point in having a conversation if you're not going to believe what I say?
You hide, Michael. You hide your feelings from me and even from yourself.
Oh, and I'm the only one in this room that's guilty of that. Look, I know I'm not great with my feelings, but I try. You, on the other hand, you do anything you can to steer the conversation off of yourself and onto me.
Oh, how so?
How so? How so? I asked you 3 times how your day was today, and instead of reciprocating my effort...
But you weren't listening.
I was making an effort! I would much rather have a conversation about your day than be lectured about what days of the week you're at school.
What? How do you actually think this is about school or work?
It's not! You're saying I'm not listening, and you're the one that's not listening.
Okay, so yeah, they're on the outs. On the surface, that fight was just like all the others, but that time it felt different. I knew what it meant. After it was over, I stepped outside to be alone and clear my head, and I just kept walking. Damn, that was intense to listen to. That's one of those things as well, by the way, that like this is a very typical guy versus girl argument, and this is actually very typical. Now, in all fairness, he did sound pretty bored, but for guys, at least myself, it's not the little minute details that matter, it's the overarching thing. Like, I focus on a lot of details in my personal life, so I don't, no, not personal, my work life, so I don't want to focus on small details. So if I'm just like, oh yeah, how was school? And it was actually work you were at. Either way, I'm asking how your day was. Rather than tell me that I've checked out completely and like turn this into this big thing, just be like, oh, it was work, not school. It was school, not work. Whatever the case might be. Just that little tiny correction, just be like, oh yeah, just in case you forgot, I was actually at school, not work. That's all you need to say. And then it's like, oh, sorry, how was this? Easy solution. But just turning this mountain. Okay, I actually had a conversation like this once where I got chewed into because I asked, oh, you know, when are you going to work? And I started writing down the schedule just to make sure I have time to stream and record and stuff while I'm at home, alone. So that way I'm not bothering anybody else. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, you're working like 3 to 11 tomorrow, right? Or 12 to 9 or whatever the case might be. And they freaked out because they were working 7 to 4. Like, just absolutely went apeshit on me. And it's just like, man, just correct me and just say, hey, tomorrow I'm 7 to 4. Don't turn this into a big thing. just because I was like, I took your like Thursday schedule and accidentally thought it was Tuesday. Sure, I wrote it down, but I wasn't looking at your schedule at the time. Just correct me and move on. That's it. And this fight here, this is what a lot of couples get into when they've been together for a while. And you know the relationship is dying and they don't have that chemistry anymore. It's just they take the little things and they fixate on it and they turn it into a bigger thing. So it's not like, for example, for myself, it's not that I don't care that you're at work. It's just, I just want to know what time it is so I can do my stuff without bothering you. There's no reason to pull it in and say, you don't care, to check my schedule and all this other crap. Like, that's just making a mountain out of a molehill. Then there's other people who are just like, oh, man. Some people make molehills out of mountains. Some people make mountains out of molehills. I would rather just make molehills out of molehills. And other sentences that just sound weird out loud. Yeah, sometimes it's just a gentle nudge in the right direction will stop things from escalating to this. Now, sometimes, though, it does cause a fight. Because I mentioned earlier I was with somebody as a roommate, and they left dirty dishes on the counter. And for me, if you at least scrub the frying pan, just hot water and just take a scrubby around the edge and just rinse it out, just so it looks clean, I'll reuse the frying pan. I can do it for my own stuff. But I don't want to have to go through an hour of washing dishes when I get home from work just so that I can make my supper. It's a courtesy thing. And so that's just one example of like, I'm tired, I'm hangry, I don't want to deal. I'm tired and sick of dealing with trying to tell you that I don't want to deal for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, however long it is. Eventually it's going to burst and it's going to lead to an argument. That's big shit. That is technically making a mountain of a molehill. But when it adds up over time and it's something that is actually getting in the way of my daily routine, then it's understandable that it's going to lead to some arguments and fights. Stuff like this, where it's like just the smallest detail of like work versus school. You asked how my day was, but you didn't ask the right location. That's just bullshit. And that's the stuff that relationships need to just not sweat the small stuff. But that's just my 2 cents on that. I kind of want to keep playing this, because this is getting pretty interesting. But I need to take a break for now, because I have some RE Village to get into. So anyway, for now, I've made a couple of rants about relationships and relationshipy stuff. So, hooray. Now maybe you guys have a better way of handling relationships than I do. Maybe you want to nip everything in the bud right off the bat. For me, it's just like some things are worth it, some things are not. Pick your battles. But oh well. For now, though, I am going to turn this off. But until next time, have fun gaming. And as always, LM, Laguna Matata. I need to stop saying that. I really do.